Okay, let's get it on. Another little session coming up. We got Martinhal Beach, sun is out. The wind has actually dropped a little bit. I've got the 7.1 SMAX. So this is Simmer's twin cam sail. So twin cam, sort of free race sail. I should have an STM mast, I thought, in this, but I forgot it. So I've put the RDM mast. I've had to change the camber, or one of the cambers. And I've got my sort of free ride small boom, which is right on the edge of the extension, so it's on 210. That's never a good idea, but I'm going to give it a go, see how it feels. It's pretty solid, this boom, so I'll have to see. 35 cm fin, and I'm testing out the 106 Monster. This is the one I got the other day. So 230 long, 70 wide, 106 obviously volume. This is Simmer's free race boards. Like I say, it's like the Starboard Futura. It's that kind of genre of board. And usually for the fin, what are you meant to do? Are you meant to half the width and then add a little bit? So maybe the fin is a little small. I'll have to check. Actually, it might be a 36 centimeter fin. I'll have to check that. I don't know. I've still got these Lisa windsurfing lines. I'm just, like I said, I'm still going through testing a lot of stuff. But today, I've actually put on my normal waist harness. Just again, I'm just trying to feel what are the differences and how it all feels. Anyway, I'm just going for a blast, nothing special. There's not that much wind. The board could be a little bit small. I might need a bigger board or a bigger sort of fin. But like I said, it's more like a test than anything else, just to give everything a little run and see how it works. I'm sure there'll be a few gusts. There's always a few gusts at Martinhal. We've got a few of the boys out there already. I think maybe I saw 7/8s. 7.5s, that sort of. So I'm a little bit on the small side, just in general, but no, I'm a little bit on the small side, but I think we'll be all right. Well, we'll soon find out. I haven't adjusted the straps actually, because I literally just screwed them in the board, but usually free ride, you can get away with not having the perfect straps. You know, they can be a bit small. In wave sailing, I would never ever suggest that. But with free ride, I'm just going to go out and see how they are. Usually straight out the bag, free ride straps for me, for Simmer, are usually pretty good. So I haven't adjusted them. I'm hoping they'll be fine. Whoa, cambers, it's been a while. It's been a while, Mr. Cambers. I usually like an adjustable outhaul, you know, on sizes like this, because, whoa, hello. So I definitely need more. I'm gonna have to do, maybe put the boom up or something. Yeah, the boom is really on the edge of its sizing. You know, 210 for a very skinny boom, right on the last one. So someone was asking me how are the harness lines to adjust. Well, I mean, I've used them once, twice now, and that is a bit harder to adjust. You know, you don't want it to slip around all over the place. So I'll give you a better take on that in a bit. Let's see, I'm on 100, I must have a 36 in. It feels like I've got a bit of juice in it. I'm gonna see if we can get through the hole here. Yeah, I've got a fair bit of lift. I thought I might be a bit underboarded. I still haven't put an extra knot in these lines. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I need to move the lines back. Obviously, from the 6.0 the other day, board feels smooth and jibe's nice. Oh yeah, oh I like that. Oh, that is smooth. That is smooth. My lines are so far forward. I don't know if you can see. My hand feels like it wants to be back here. So we're gonna have to do some adjusting. Oh, I'll tell you what, I was worried about the wind not being very windy, but Martinhal is very deceptive from the beach. Sometimes it looks like there's not much at all. And I'm flying around here. Obviously I'm on a 7.0. I mean, it's not a tiny sail by any stretch, but 100 litre board, oh, it feels pretty good. The fin wasn't totally flush in the box. It's the first time I've basically unwrapped the fin, stuck it in the board. So usually, sometimes when you first get it, it's better just to check that it fits. So I'm not sure if my screws were a bit long. I had to put quite a few washers in. but I didn't really have time to faff around too much, so the fin's not falling out, but we can definitely do some adjusting. It's probably a bit more upright due to that. Yeah, so there's a few bits of cloud going on. Where's the sun gone? Board feels pretty smooth, I've got to say. Move these lines. Now, I do have a bit of a hum going on. I think my camera is stopping the sail moving, maybe. Oh, it feels good. Tell you what, 100 litre board is pretty good. Let's move these lines first. Actually feels pretty solid. I've got a bit of a humdinger. Yeah, so anyone who's asking, you can move the lines. Look at that. Front one, especially, much tighter than the back one. Back one did move there, that's a bit better. So on this tack, we're going to have to stop at the other time. We're not going to get a jibe in. I could probably higher the boom. Everything else feels good. And a few people asking me, Ben, how do you tune the gear? You know, how do you know if it's feeling right? Well, maybe I'm not the best guy to ask, but I'll just go through my sort of feelings. What I am trying to feel as we wait for a gust, just in case you just think I'm rambling, but when you're waiting for a, you know, what you're trying to feel is you're trying to feel that your top end is not hindered. You know, when you've not got enough downhaul on, for example, the sail kind of feels like it blocks. You get up to speed and then it doesn't really accelerate. You know, you just got all this power, but it's not lifting the board, it's not driving you forwards. For me, that's usually, I mean, there could be a few things, but usually that means there's not enough downhaul on. So the sail's powering up and pushing down, it's not releasing. You know, when you've got too much downhaul on, you've got just nothing in your hands, you've got no drive at all, the sail kind of doesn't have any stability, you know, it's got no depth in the front to sort of pull you up. They're the sort of two things I kind of look for. A lot of the time, once you get, you know, better at tuning and knowing your equipment, is you can sort of see a lot of it on the beach, and then the finer tuning is the stuff you do on the water. So you really shouldn't be going on the water and being like totally out. It should be coming down. I'm just trying to get through this hole, excuse me, without getting out of the straps. So there we go, right. So, you know, it should feel relatively all right. Like this sail at the moment, I feel like I've got boost. Look at that. I mean, that feels pretty good. I'm pretty pinned here. You know, now the harness lines are right comfortable. Fin's lifting, doing its job. I mean, fin feels actually really well matched with this board. I can get it, you know, slightly on the downwind rail, the leeward rail, and I can get the board sort of cutting through the chop. You know, you don't want the board flat and just hitting every chop. If you can, and you've got a good fin and you can really push off it, you can get the board up on its sort of rail a bit, and it will go so much faster through the chop. Just to let you know, there's less board hitting, especially on the front. So that's the kind of feeling I'm going for. Again, there's top slalom guys in the world, maybe they've got their own opinions on it, but essentially we're all looking for the same thing. Let me just change these lines. There is some big holes today. Yeah, so the front of these lines, I don't know if you can see this, you can move pretty good. It's not too easy. The back line is very easy to move, which is useful, I think. These ones were quite far forward from that other day. So yeah. Sail feels, I would say, pretty good on this RDM mast. Personally, as I said the other day in the other video, I think I prefer the SDM. I mean, I go through phases. It feels lighter, it's nice to grab, you know, it feels smaller, but there's something more locked about the SDM mast in slalom gear or freeride gear. I definitely noticed a bigger difference with the VMAX the other day, because like I said, with the cambers, they're locked against this mast, so you don't get that looseness at the front. You know, with the VMAX and the, you know, no cambers, when you use an RDM, you get more spare cloth at the front of the sail, so you get a looser feeling. Whereas with the SDM mast, which is the, you know, the normal diameter, standard diameter mast, you feel it more locked and tighter. And I do like that feeling, I have to be honest. It feels quite playful on the RDM, but actually I'm not having that same feeling with this twin cam sail. I think it's probably just more something I'm used to. Some big holes in this. Let's say some big holes today. End of the day, wind is kind of dying down. Yeah, so in this weather, I feel like the waist harness is absolutely fine, although, you know, the Liberty harness I used the other day, which is that kind of lower, more seated waist harness, I think it would also be good. I think in this type of stuff, you're not really getting lifted or pulled up anyway, so I can sort of pull this down, it stays down. What I am impressed with, this board feels super comfortable, and the fin actually feels really well matched, which, considering I just plonked it in, is good. And are we talking about, you know, how good the fin is compared to the PWA slalom boys going to fin? Probably not. But for me, I'm just trying to feel, can I push off the fin? Is it driving the board? Am I getting too much lift, or am I just nicely planted? And this feels like a very good sort of mixture of all the feelings I want. And it is difficult, you know. Oh, I'm right back-winded there into a hole, into a big hole there. You know, you're just trying to find that balance. You know, you don't get too crazy on the fin. You know, if obviously you don't want a fin that is just, when you get to a certain point and you're pushing hard and everything feels good, and then it suddenly just, you know, lifts you out of the water, or you can't control the lift, or it's not picking you up. That could be a few other settings, but let's say it's the fin, then obviously, you know, you need to investigate the fin and what sort of other options you might have. But what we're looking for is just good traction, the right size of fin for board. Like I said, there's a formula that I heard which is basically half the width, and then this is not the technical bit, add a little bit. Now, I'm not quite sure how technical that is, but it has definitely worked for me. I think, you know, I'll change my mind on this. I think I've got a 36 cm fin in this 70, I think it's a 70 litre board. We've got light winds at the moment, so it feels okay at the moment. Maybe if the wind got a bit more, maybe it might feel big, I don't know. These are all things that are kind of interesting to find out. But I obviously know, you know, things like fins are not cheap, that's for sure. So it's not quite like you can just go, oh, I'll try that out. Oh, I'll buy another one, I'll try that out. I do know that. So if you can get the option, you know, where you can try before you buy, that's the best, you know, case scenario, as long as you don't, you know, knacker someone's fin. Because there are a lot of guys that are getting into foiling, maybe they're selling some of their really good fins, and they'll still, as long as they're in good condition, you know, there's nothing wrong with buying a second-hand fin. It's probably the way to go, if I'm honest with you. Look at the boys flying around. Joel looks like he's on a pretty big sail there. They're on the full race gear. We'll have to give them a little play in a minute. See how much we've got. Obviously, we're on a free race board in a twin cam sail, but I still think it's got, you know, quite a bit about it. Could probably bring the track back a bit, but I think with where we've got the boom at the moment, it's pretty good. The trick with martinhal is trying to jibe in the gusts or not jibe into the holes. You know, that is one of the big things. Now, some people, you know, really hate, and I'm talking really hate, gusty weather. Me personally, you know, I grew up on a lake, so I don't know why, I actually kind of like it. It's almost like a chess game. It's like a challenge going from hole to hole. You know, I don't need to be blasting around every second and every jibe. I like to look for those, you know, those gusts and try and jibe in them, try and stay out of the holes. It's kind of like a little game you play. So, you know, next time you're out there, people who sail on lakes, especially the smaller lakes, and that is kind of where I grew up windsurfing. It's probably why I'm like that, to be honest. You know, that's kind of it. It's so nice to see that you see a gust coming now. You know, when you're new to windsurfing, you won't even see that gust coming. So it's kind of funny. When you grow up on a lake, you get very, very sensitive to gusts and stuff. Yeah, so I shorten the line so I can get myself more upright at the moment, which is also interesting because we've got the speed going on in down in the south of France, Le Palme at the moment. Let's try and jibe with the boys. And the two guys who are at the top of the fleet have both got very, very interesting styles of sailing. You know what I mean? We've got like Hans Kreisel and Vincent Valkner, and they interestingly have very short lines, very low boom, and it's, you know, it's quite interesting. They're top two, so it's interesting, and that's all I can say. There's no right or wrong. You have to do whatever you do to go fast. So we're holding him here on the full slalom here, which is feels pretty good. Obviously coming to a hole here. This is behind the cliff. I'm gonna pace it out. Looks like we're going all the way. Well, we just go with the boys. I've literally got no pressure in here. I need a bit more of a gust for the gear I'm on at the moment. Be lucky if we plane out of here, stay alive. I'm going to try and ride it into this next gust, into this one, and then we'll try and carry that through. Yeah, I thought the boys are on bigger gear, so obviously I wouldn't usually come all the way into here. Absolutely just killing me as they come out. There we go. Well, we slightly made it out, survived. Also, if you're interested in coming to Sagres, you're into slalom, there is the national, you know, Portuguese championships again this year, and it's kind of in the middle of June, which is a great time of the year to come. Not super busy, wind should be good, and it's a really fun event, you know. Serious, but not World Cup serious. You know, it's a pretty okay standard. I've won a few races in the past, depending who turns up. I think this year will be quite tricky, but like I said before, with slalom, you really don't matter if you're going to win or be in the middle or at the back. You will always find people to race with. That's the beauty of slalom. Oh, I've got a hole here. Oh, we were catching them, man. We were having them. Although they probably hit the hole first, so we're going to go round them. You realise we're going to get this gust, and we just stay up high, and we have them. Not entirely. Not going to claim it, but let's give it some here. Get on the back of this board. I haven't actually turned my GPS on. I'm terrible for that. I think we're going to jibe around the rock. No, we're not. I've already jibed. Looks like the boys are on pretty big gear, so in theory, although on free race gear, my gear's a bit smaller, I should have a bit more top end. So we're down near the rocks here. Yeah, this is the choppy stuff which you've really got to brace yourself and be getting the board driving over it. As soon as you let it go a little bit loose, it really slows you down, or in my experience it does. Back off. I don't want to go in the hole. I don't want to go in the hole. Yeah, so there you go. I am finding, I don't know if you noticed, but if you actually look at the harness lines, they're sticking out a bit. I don't know if that's a normal thing. I don't know if it's good or bad, but they're a little bit high sometimes when I'm hooking out. Maybe we'll have to have a word, see if that's just the way I'm sailing. Maybe I've got a low boom, so they end up. I would like to higher the boom a little bit actually. The thing is, with hiring the boom a little bit, it will effectively let some outhaul off as well, which is interesting. Not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that is what will happen, especially with this narrow boom. It's probably not a great thing, but okay. Well, like I said, just a quick little sesh. I don't know if there's any pearls of wisdom in that, but it's just cool, you know, when you know this is your local beach, and on a sunny day from now probably all the way to September, most days you'll be able to come down here for a little blast or a sail. It's pretty cool, I gotta say. Well, actually that feels a bit better with the higher boom. I can feel the board already lifting much better. It means I can, when I get the gust, I can turn it into speed. You know, as it lifts up, I'm pushing it forwards. Oh, there's some pretty big holes in this wind. I just got one now. It lifted up and then spat me out pretty much. And just another thing, just before I go, on this harness, even now, just pushing for a couple of runs with the boys is much more different to normal sailing, because my back now in that middle, just my muscle, not my, you know, anything to do with the bones, I can feel it. And that is where you realise when you're pushing for the whole of the Defi, or you're doing, you know, let's say you've got a place at home where you're doing long runs, that's when that Liberty harness will come into its own, because my harness has crept up a bit from when I first went out, and now it's in sort of the mid stage of my back. You can see it's not over my butt, and I'm not able to use anything from that lower end. So now you end up using this muscle in the middle of your back, and when you're doing stuff like this and you're really, like, you know, trying to get yourself rigid and drive, you use this middle of your back. Whereas you can use that top end of your hip or whatever it is, and that for me just feels the most comfortable. So interestingly, just in this short session and without using the Liberty harness, I think I'm definitely be taking it out next time. Here we go. This is more like it. Yeah, feels pretty good with a bit higher boom. To say, my harness is now a little bit higher than I would have liked, and I can't quite get the drive. I could feel it towards the end of the last weeks, to be honest. Interesting. So there you go. Subscribe to the channel. Obviously this one is on Ben Proffitt YouTube channel. We're going to be mixing it up. We will be putting still some stuff on Windsurfing TV, but I want to get a lot of the other brands and riders involved on that channel, and a lot of my stuff will be, you know, going through this channel. So subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, hole. There's a hole. There's a hole in my bucket. Okay, let's see how quick we can have this going. I just did a run before with what, 31.5 knots or something, so pretty good. But it really depends what gusts we get. We have got one coming here. It's just we need to get it timed right. No world records just yet. There's a good gust coming. All right, let's see. Can we get over 32? Let's see. 106 monster. 7-1 twin cam. Let's see. Come on! Keep pushing everything. Get a bit of a fucking. What you reckon? Answers? What you reckon? Oh! Guess what? 31.9. Oh, we don't break the 32 knots. Ay, ay, ay.